How you doing, YouTube? Matt with Massive Beer Reviews. Back for yet another review. And, yeah. Little bit of Farmhouse Ale hopeful goodness in the form of Blackberry Farms Boundary Tree. Farmhouse Ale, words, 6.3% alcohol by volume. From a brewery that honestly just kind of hit my area as far as I noticed. I've seen a couple bottles here and there right around the same time they hit my area. I was lucky enough to actually get a couple bottles from Blackberry Farms. Thank you very much. And yeah, this is the first one we're kind of popping off review-wise. So other than what I already read, what else does she actually have on here? Blah, 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 blah. A little Tennessee goodness. And on the side here it says, this Farmhouse Ale features notes of tropical fruit and complements its bready malt undertones. A soft bitterness reminiscent of orange marmalade. Ooh, that word. I haven't read that one in a while in a beer. Balances delicate spice notes that result from warm fermentations. Tucked away in Blackberry Farms' 9,200-acre estate in the foothills of Great Smoky Mountains, Blackberry Farm Brewery produces classic old-world-style beers, all artisan crafted and bottle conditioned right here in East Tennessee. I believe they're a winery, too. I believe they were a winery before they were a brewer. That's just based off of memory. Again, I don't look up pretty much anything at all before I go dive into a beer just on purpose, so I can go into it kind of blank. But that is that. Farmhouse Ale. Go a couple different directions with that. But expecting a little bit of funkiness. They said warm fermentation, so yeast is going to drive the day, hopefully. They're talking about soft bitterness and bready undertone with notes of tropical fruit. I don't know if that's a hop thing or ester thing, but hopefully we find out. Label-wise, it's fucking cool. I like it. The texture of the label is really nice. The design, very classy. Nothing too crazy. So, I'm a fan. Let's put it that way. Let's give this a pop. See what she has. Now, let's see how this cork goes. Is it going to want to come out? Ooh, I thought that was going to... There it goes. So, I thought it was moving a little bit. No. I thought it was moving. That could just be me. I had a cork fly off for me on a beer review the other day, so I'm a little bit kind of gun shy when it comes to the poppings of those old corks and cages. So gigantic head on this one. I mean, it's a funky beer, so it's kind of be expected. But if there's active yeast, there's kind of like a wild Brett thing going on. We'll see if we can discern that in there. Nice kind of creamy top to it. Pretty vibrant kind of carbonation in the base, but also it kind of seems like it's kind of like cascading over itself headwise. Bubbles get much bigger. They're kind of neurotically compact for a minute there, and it's kind of spread open. These pours, I get a few people kind of mention or write to me a lot of times going, man, your pours are fucking horrible. And I've said this before in other reviews, but I'll keep saying it just so people know. Plus, I got to kill some time for this and kind of dive down. Is that I pour these for a reason. I pour them just without tilting the glass to give you guys an idea of how they pour in general. Because there's some beers where you're kind of falsifying how it's going to be if you're kind of aiming for a specific pour. So if you see me pour these beers like that, I'm doing it for a reason. I'm not just saying fuck you and throwing it in the glass. Anyway, receding pretty quickly now, just off white head, and it's got a soft kind of murky haze to it, an orange, kind of that orange marmalade kind of color to it, so that kind of rings true in there. Does she look like a Farmhouse Ale? Sure. That can go a multitude of different directions, from light to dark, so yeah. Saving the nose on her. Ooh, there's a spiciness in there, but it's hop derived. There's a definite fruitiness in there. It's a more kind of peachy skin, tropical fruitiness going on. Not very hop-like, though. I feel like the bitterness is hop-driven. It could be from the hops, too, but I feel like it's more of kind of a yeasty-beasty kind of thing. But yeah, she smells nice. Subtle bit of funk, nothing too crazy, nice kind of spiciness. It feels like it's come from the hops, and that fruit is gentle, yes, yet forceful. Can I say that? Because they're actually opposites? Sure, I could do that. What I meant was rounded yet impactful. It's not necessarily that it's small and big. It's not jarring. Okay. So, she doesn't look the part, or does she, depending on your perception of Farmhouse Ale. She smells the part, sure. Again, your perception of Farmhouse Ale. Let's dive in and see if she tastes a part of good, because that's all that matters. It's tasty. It's tasty, well made, but a little bit less robust, a little bit less impactful than I thought it would be based off of the nose. 6.3%, not a gigantic beer by any means, but at the same time, not a teeny beer. She's good. She's nice. She's tasty. A lot of those flavors, or the notes you're getting in the nose, the flavors are there, but they're a bit more muted. There's a definite dryness to it, almost like it hit a little bit of oak. I don't know if it did, but it definitely has that kind of oaky kind of dryness to it. Nothing else other than the dryness, not much as far as like vanilla from fresh oak or anything like that. But she's tasty. Definitely has a kind of rye, almost rye spiciness to it. At first I thought it was a hop thing. Now I think it almost like is kind of like a little bit of a rye malt kind of thing. I don't think it's in there because they would have mentioned it on the label. That's what I'm kind of getting off of it. Tasty. Bready. Definitely bready. Rye bready. Yeah. That fruit, I wish it was a little bit bigger, but it's still there. Just that kind of bready ryeness, rye vibes. Let's put it that way, because I'm going to keep saying rye. A lot of this, this is what I'm guessing here with this beer. Tasty. Delicious. I'd buy it, depending on the price point. I was lucky enough to get it for free, but depending on where it was price-wise, it's definitely something I'd pick up. This is definitely a dinner beer for me. But I'm guessing that this is a very kind of terroir-driven kind of brewery based off of this beer. They're letting their actual environment kind of speak to the beer, whether it be from yeast or grains or the whole nine. So I'm betting if you kind of walked around this farm, this is a lot of what you taste here, a lot of what you smell here is what you're going to smell when you're actually at the brewery itself. And that's a beautiful thing, to be perfectly honest with you. Other than that, yeah, I mean, that's pretty much it. Tasty, really bready, the little bit of rye kind of spiciness that I feel like I'm getting from it. Like I said, I don't think there's actually rye malt in it. There could be, even the color kind of makes you think there's a little bit in there. It's nice. Let's talk about it. Is it one of the better farmhouse style ales I've had as of late? On the outside looking in. Close, but on the outside looking in. Definitely not the worst. But there's some other ones that I've had that are a bit more on my alley. Threw down a couple from various breweries over the past several months that were just a little bit more to my liking. Probably a little bit more to the game. Kind of yeast estery. It seems to be very malt driven. And a little bit maybe of even hops. But it seems like the yeast on this is a little bit smaller than I'd like it to be. I'd like to see a little bit more complexity on that end of things. But at the same time, pretty tasty stuff. Definitely something I wouldn't push away. Let's see. Value availability. Again, don't know. Sent to me. We do see their beers in our area, but like I said, they just started hitting our area, and I've only seen like one or two different kinds of their beers. Haven't seen this one, so take that for what it's worth, and just say if you like what will you like this. If you just like food-based beers, Belgian table beers, like smaller yeast-driven beers, traditional style saisons, nothing too over the top and kind of Frankensteined into something that is outside of what the style typically is. That's what it is. This is a traditional farmhouse style beer. It's basically, I'm guessing they took what they have available, which is, the traditional side of things, just threw that in and made a beer out of it, and that's a great thing. It's just, if you're looking for that kind of super funk, or you're looking for that super overt kind of yeastiness, it's not there. But again, it's not necessarily a bad thing. It's just what you're looking for in a beer. So if you're looking for that more gentle, more delicate kind of style farmhouse ale that isn't kind of tweaked to the nth degree, as I mentioned, it's definitely be up your alley. So there you go. Another review in the books. Hopefully you guys enjoyed the review. If you did, didn't, anywhere in between, down there, words and stuff. Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Untapped, Massive Beers, all four of those places if you want to check me out anywhere else. And hopefully you guys enjoyed the review. Hopefully enjoying a nice little Farmhouse Ale right now. Tennessee-born Farmhouse Ale, and hope to see you next time. Cheers.